Hello, and this is Jamie, your mortgage queen of the South. Today I want to talk to you about your student loans and how they could affect you qualify, specifically on an FHA mortgage loan. As you know, when you're trying to qualify for a mortgage, your debt is obviously heavily considered. We're looking at your debt to income ratios to determine whether you could afford to purchase a house. On student loans, even if you're not paying on them, they are considered debt, and so they are still factored into your student or your debt to income calculation. So usually you have three situations when it comes down to your student loans. Either you are under a standard repayment plan or an income-based repayment plan, or your student loans are in deferment. That means that you're not paying on them right now. Typically, this happens when you are still currently enrolled in school or recently got out of school, usually within the last 12 months or so. When it comes down to an FHA loan, we have the most strict guidelines when it comes to analyzing your student loan debt. Usually, we have to consider 1% of that balance as a debt, or higher if your actual payment is higher. So let me use an example. If you are under a standard repayment plan, and let's say that your balance on your student loans is 20%, I'm sorry, 20,000, but the standard repayment plan has you at a $225 payment a month. What we're going to use as a debt is going to be the actual payment, which is $225 a month. Let's say you're on an income-based repayment plan for $20,000, but you are only paying $20 on your student loans. We are supposed to count 1%. So even though you're only making a $20 payment on your student loans, 1% of $20,000 is $200. So we are required to count $200 of that debt towards your monthly liabilities or your monthly debt. If you're on deferment, you're actually not making any payment. You're making a $0 payment a month. However, we are still required to count that 1%, in this case, $200 a month towards your debt. So usually it's going to be the worst case scenario, either the 1% of a student loan balance in the case that you are not currently making any payments, or if you're on an income-based repayment plan and your payment is fairly low, or higher if you're on a standard repayment plan and it's above the 1%. If your standard repayment plan is higher than 1%, then we have to use that higher number. The one exception to these two rules is not something we come across very often. Basically, if you are on a repayment plan that is less than 1% and it fully amortizes at the end of the term of your agreement, then we're allowed to use that number. This often happens when you get into a repayment plan and it's like an extended repayment plan. So instead of the standard, let's say 10 years that they do, you're doing a 25-year repayment. And so you have a $20,000 loan. Perhaps, this is just an example, perhaps you're making $125 payments on a monthly basis, and you have documented paperwork showing that within that 25-year period, your monthly payment is fully gonna pay on your student loans. In this case, with the paperwork at hand, we are able to use that fully amortizing repayment plan. This is usually what will give you the best case scenario when you are in a situation where you have student loans and perhaps they're a little bit higher and they're counting against you with your debt to income ratios. That being said, I personally have student loans that I'm working on aggressively paying off myself. I don't recommend any extended repayment plans. Unfortunately, these loans tend to gain a lot of interest, and people don't realize that sometimes, let's say you have a student loan for $5,000 and you keep doing income-based repayment plans, you're going to see that within a very short period of time, that $5,000 balance is going to become $6,000, then $7,000. And so obviously you get put into the position where you're digging yourself in a bigger hole by not making any payments. So my personal advice to you is pay on your student loans. If you have any questions regarding qualifying for a mortgage and perhaps any questions regarding your student loans and your mortgage loan, feel free to give me a call. My number is 803-665-1045. Thank you and have a great day.